Welcome to the Armchair Trader podcast. We are going to be talking about Bitcoin mining today, which I think will attract even more attention now with energy prices going up and there's increased concern over the environmental impact of mining. And joining us today to discuss all of this is Tim Sandau, Chief Executive Officer of Bitcoin miner Verakari.
Hi, how are you doing today?
Good, thanks. Thank you for taking the time. It would be great if you can tell us a little bit about yourself and what Verakari does.
Like you said, I'm the CEO of Verakari. Verakari is a new startup company, but we are made up of professionals that have many decades of experience in the industry. Members of our team have backgrounds at Google, at Facebook, at Fidelity, at Apple. When I started Verakari, I said I wanted to bring together as many industry leaders as possible on one team to create the best possible experience for the Bitcoin miner and the hoster of Bitcoin equipment as possible. So what Verakari does is we design, we build out, and we operate Bitcoin mining hosting facilities that we operate for the general public and for some industrial customers.
Okay, so after a career in tech, made you want to go into Bitcoin mining?
I got into crypto mining in 2017. At that time, and between 2017 and 2018, I had the opportunity to build one of the largest hosting facilities in North America. And then I really realized the potential that Bitcoin had. You know, those of us who have been in the industry a while and are kind of still in the industry, we say that, Bitcoin was still the wild, wild west back then, right? It was just a ton of opportunity and a ton of room for rapid growth, and that was very attractive to me.
And where does the industry stand now? I mean, it's gone through an evolution, obviously, over the last few years. So can you tell me a bit about how it's changed?
I would say that right now in 2022, that the Bitcoin industry is stronger than ever, and is moving in the right direction, especially in the United States. We've seen the Bitcoin industry go from 2017, where it had to be just these huge institutional investors with tons of money to put in, to where now almost anybody in the industry can mine Bitcoin. It's gone from an upper class investment to upper middle class investment, where people can get into the game with as little as $10,000 or $12,000. And like I said, it's overall a great time, especially in the United States. I mean, the U.S. is now the top destination for Bitcoin mining. We've taken over the first spot from China, who's controlled the market for a number of years. And actually, Bitcoin mining and hash rate is up over 400% in the U.S. since 2020.
And with all of this, there's more regulatory scrutiny as well. I mean, you mentioned China. Bitcoin mining there has now been banned, right? So how has that impacted the industry generally?
China was the leader in hash rate for basically since the beginning. When China banned crypto, or Bitcoin mining, I should say, what happened is that the whole industry flocked to the United States. And the majority of the global hash rate that was in China is now in the US. It allowed the industry in the US to take off and to skyrocket, and it allowed many new startup companies in the US to, be developed and to start up. And it has really gave the whole Bitcoin economy in the US new life.
I mean, with Bitcoin mining, there are always concerns around its environmental impact, the energy consumption. I mean, is this really a big problem, or is it getting overblown? And what are you doing to address some of these issues?
Anytime we talk about environmental issues, we want to take those issues seriously, of course. I think we need to look at the value that crypto offers and Bitcoin mining offers to the community and the world in general, right? Everywhere we go, all over the world, you're going to see telephone poles by the side of the streets, right? And they're going to have wires running along the side of the road and the street everywhere. And people accept that fact that they have to see those things. They have to see the telephone pole, because electricity in everybody's home is an incredible value, right? And we need to really look at the infrastructure behind Bitcoin as having that same value, and what the blockchain can offer us, and different things like that. So I would say when we're looking at environmental impact, let's first look at the store of value. Secondly, let's actually look at the big overall picture. Like you asked me if Bitcoin mining and the power consumption was worse on the environment than other issues. Well, it actually uses less electricity than the traditional financial institutions currently use in the U.S. So that's something to consider as well. If I believe my numbers are correct, somewhere around 120 terawatt hours per year, where the regular financial institution is over 250. So I would say, definitely not. It's not as bad as most people would say it is. But I would also like to add that it's important to look at where your power is coming from. If you're going to mine Bitcoin, to take that into consideration, to try to use renewable energy or carbon-free energy. At Verakari, all our facilities are carbon-free. So that is something that we take pride in.
So how does that work? How do you design the equipment so they are carbon free and you can keep the consumption down?
It's not designing the Bitcoin miners to be carbon free or to use renewable energy. A Bitcoin miner is going to use as much electricity as it possibly can at all times. So you need to purchase sustainable, renewable energy, carbon free energy. And that comes down to negotiating, good power purchase agreement with your utilities and your power providers. But there's a lot you can do to help the equipment that you use operate more efficiently. At Verakari, we do that in a few different ways, but the main way that we do that is through what we call our mods, which is our mobile operation data center. So we have built and designed our patent pending pod, our mobile data center, to operate cryptocurrency mining equipment. It's built for absolute efficiency. It's built to run as many miners as possible. Right now, it can run 696 miners, which is 2.4 megawatts of power, and only a footprint that's 50 feet long and 10 feet wide. It's industry leading in that capability. It allows us to use limited resources and educated and selected resources to be able to put up as many miners as possible in a small space. It allows for a much faster ROI, and we have our in-house proprietary software that we use to monitor this equipment and help it run more efficiently.
Do you think, if other miners basically did this kind of stuff and committed to use renewable energy when they can for most of their operations, do you think that we will see a significant cut in emissions or the environmental impact?
Yeah, I think it's very important that other Bitcoin miners focus on sustainable, renewable, and carbon-free energy. I think in the industry overall, that is the overall desire for most of the big players in the industry. You're always going to have your bad actors, but I think it's something that is, widely discussed in the industry, and that we are using more renewable and sustainable and carbon-free industry than is sometimes portrayed.
And is it expensive? Are there cost considerations?
Yeah, sometimes, especially if you're going to go get into solar and wind, but hydro and carbon-free energy like nuclear power can sometimes be just as affordable or sometimes even cheaper. If you're going to set up your Bitcoin mining infrastructure and build the enterprise class facilities like Verakari built, I think it's definitely important to consider those renewable options.
And tell me a bit more about Verakari's business model. Can you help other companies and investors get into Bitcoin mining as well?
Yes, that's what Verakari does, and that's what Verakari excels in. So we have kind of two models. One's for your retail investor, okay, and one's for your institutional investor. So with as little as $500 down, we can allow retail investors to get into the space and buy a spot in one of our enterprise class facilities. That locks down that space for them. And then where we use our proprietary software and our years of experience to manage their, individual miner, or maybe they have 3, 4, or 5 miners, something on the smaller side. We're able to manage their miners and operate them just as if they were in a large institutional facility. So that's something that we do pride ourselves on, is that you don't need to have $5 million to get into the game or get into the industry, right? With as little as $500, you can work with Verakari and be in a world-class facility. Verakari, when it comes to the retail space, Verakari is not a third-party reseller, right? You get everything in-house with us. We build the facility for you. We manage your miners and equipment for you. We help you purchase the equipment. We coach you. Our customer service is excellent. We make sure that you get an ROI on your equipment as fast as possible. And when it comes to the institutional investors, we partner with some of the biggest players in the game. And we've hosted dozens of megawatts for clients. Our team combined has built out and hosted over 150 megawatts of power in the United States and in China. And we are set up and poised for retail investment and people who want to make a big splash in the game, either using our mobile data centers or our vertical deployment design, which builds out these mining equipments in large warehouse and retail spaces.
And for retail investors, I mean, is this open to investors only based in the US, or can international investors get in as well?
Nope, international investors can definitely join our family and join our team here. No, it's very simple to do. You can go to our website, and within a couple of clicks, we can have you all set and ready to go.
And let's talk a bit about the Bitcoin price. I mean, obviously there's still some volatility there, but what's driving it at the moment, do you think?
It's always a loaded question when you talk about what drives the price of Bitcoin. But obviously, there's the big topic that everyone's talking about in the world right now, which I believe has caused some of the recent spike, and that's of course the unfortunate situation that's going on with Russia and Ukraine. We're seeing a lot of Russian investors, and even the average everyday civilian in Russia taking large stakes in crypto, especially in Bitcoin, with their economy being so unstable right now. And honestly, that's what the market was designed for, right? That's what a lot of people in the U.S. are even using crypto for, as kind of a combat to inflation and a safe haven for their assets. So I think that's why we're seeing the spike in the recent popularity and the price in coin, going up a little bit and staying pretty consistent around $40,000. And I imagine that we would continue to see that streak as the year continues, and we would see a small uptick in crypto before the end of the year. But I think it's important that there's a real we can see firsthand the real life use for the asset as a comeback to inflation and a comeback to an economy that's not doing well. That's what crypto was designed for. And I think it's more important that we see a stable price of Bitcoin than we see a high price of Bitcoin.
And do you think we will see a stable price of Bitcoin?
Over the last few months, it's been holding on pretty well. Like I said, I do think that a $40,000 Bitcoin price is still relatively low. As you know, Bitcoin is a scarce asset, and I do think that we will see a price increase. But I am overall happy that we've seen some type of stability in the last couple months.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm from Turkey actually, and just like you said, a lot of Turkish people have been buying cryptocurrencies as well, just because of the Turkish lira and the volatility there.
Yeah, I understand that completely.
And how about some challenges and some headwinds? I mean, are there any things that investors need to be worried about or concerned with?
The retail investor should really explore the background of the people that they're going to give their money and that they're going to give their investment to. This industry does have their fair share of bad actors. It is still a relatively new industry, so I think that the discerning crypto miner should, do their homework. They should check the backgrounds of the individuals and the transparency of the individuals before they, commit to any retail investment. That's why at Verakari we provide our full backgrounds on the website. We provide pictures and videos on our social media of the facility, so we can allow investors to say, hey, we're not just a simple website that's asking you for your money. Come see our facilities, come see what we're doing. Follow us on LinkedIn, follow us on social media. Watch what we're doing every day. Trust our experience, trust our verifiable background. I think that's one thing that the retail investor can definitely do. And the institutional investor, they can do their research as well, but they can focus on quality partnerships. When two major brands get together and, they determine that they're going to do this right, they're going to do it right for the environment, they're going to do it right for the industry, they're going to do it with integrity. I think the more of those partnerships that are formed, the stronger the industry gets.
Well, thank you so much, Tim.